Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Easy and Practical. My name is Mark.
And I'm Sarah.
In this channel, we help you learn English in an easy and practical way through real conversations.
Exactly. Our goal is to help you feel more comfortable speaking English in everyday situations.
Today, we are going to talk about something very common and useful: how to speak English while shopping.
Yes, shopping is something most people do regularly, and it's a great opportunity to practice English in real life.
You can talk with friends, ask questions in stores, compare products, and interact with employees.
So today we're going to imagine that we are spending some time at a shopping mall.
And while we are shopping, we'll practice many useful English expressions.
All right, Mark, are you ready to go shopping?
Yes, I am. I actually need to buy a few things today.
Really? What do you need to buy?
Well, I need a new pair of shoes, and I'm also thinking about buying a new jacket.
That sounds like a good idea. A new jacket is always useful.
Yes, especially because the weather has been getting colder lately.
That's true. So, Mark, do you usually enjoy shopping?
Sometimes I do. I enjoy it more when the mall is not too crowded.
I understand that. Shopping can be stressful when there are too many people.
Exactly. I prefer going shopping during weekdays.
Yes, weekends are usually very busy.
That's very true. So, Sarah, do you like going to the mall?
Yes, I do. Not only for shopping, but also for walking around, having coffee, or meeting friends.
That's a good point. Shopping malls often have many different things to do.
Exactly. Some malls even have movie theaters and restaurants.
Yes, they can be like small cities. All right, let's imagine we just arrived at the mall. One of the first things we might say is, where should we start?
Good question. Maybe we should start at the clothing stores.
That sounds like a good idea. Actually, I want to look for a new jacket.
Perfect. Let's go into this store.
Wow, look at all these jackets.
Yes, there are many different styles.
Some are casual and some look more formal. This black jacket looks very nice.
Yes, it does. Do you like the color?
Yes, I do. Black is always a good choice.
That's true. Black matches almost everything.
When shopping with a friend, you can ask simple questions like, what do you think about this?
Yes, that's a very useful phrase. You can also ask, do you think this looks good on me?
Exactly. Friends often help each other choose clothes.
That's very common when shopping together.
Sometimes you might also say, I like this one, or I'm not sure about this color.
Yes, those are very natural phrases. Now imagine we want to know the price.
One of the most common questions is, how much is this?
Yes, that's probably the most common question in any store. You can also say, how much does this cost?
Exactly. Another useful question is, do you have this in another size?
Yes, because sometimes the size you find is not the right one. You might also ask, do you have this in a different color?
Yes, stores often carry the same item in several colors.
That's true. Now imagine you want to try the jacket.
You could ask a store employee, where is the fitting room?
Yes, fitting rooms are where you try on clothes.
Exactly. Trying clothes before buying them is very important.
So Mark, why don't you try that jacket?
Good idea. All right, I just tried it on. What do you think?
I think it looks great.
Really?
Yes, it fits you very well.
That's good to hear. Another useful phrase when shopping is, does this fit well?
Yes, that's a good question to ask your friend.
Friends can give you honest opinions.
Exactly. Now imagine you decide to buy the jacket.
You could simply say, I'll take it.
Yes, that means you want to buy the item. It's a very simple and natural phrase.
All right, now let's continue walking around the mall. Look over there. There's a shoe store.
Perfect. I still need a new pair of shoes.
Let's go inside. Wow, this store has many shoes.
Yes, there are many styles.
Some are sports shoes. Others are more formal. These shoes look very comfortable.
Yes, they do. When shopping for shoes, you might say, can I try these on?
Exactly. Trying shoes is important to make sure they fit well. Another useful question is, Do you have these in size 9?
Yes, asking for sizes is very common when buying shoes. Sometimes you might also ask, do you have a bigger size? Or do you have a smaller size?
Exactly. Sarah, what do you think about these shoes?
I like them. They look comfortable and stylish. I think they would be great for everyday use.
That's exactly what I need. Another useful phrase when shopping is, are these on sale?
Yes, sales are always interesting. Everyone likes discounts.
That's true. Sometimes you might see a sign that says 50% off.
That's always exciting.
Very exciting. Now imagine we are ready to pay. At the cashier, you might ask, do you accept credit cards?
Yes, that's a very common question. You might also ask, can I pay by card?
Exactly. Sometimes people also pay with cash.
Yes, that's still common in many places. When paying, the cashier might ask, would you like a bag?
And you can answer yes, please, or no, thank you.
Another question the cashier might ask is, do you need a receipt?
Receipts are important if you want to return the item later.
Yes, always keep your receipt.
That's good advice. After shopping for a while, you might say, I think we bought everything we needed.
Yes, and maybe now it's time to relax.
That sounds like a great idea. Maybe we can get some coffee.
Perfect. Shopping can be tiring,
Yes, but it can also be fun.
especially when you are practicing English.
Exactly. Shopping situations are perfect opportunities to practice English.
You can ask questions. You can talk about products. And you can have simple conversations.
The most important thing is to practice.
Exactly. The more you use English in real-life situations, the more confident you will become.
Thanks for practicing English with us today. We hope these phrases help you the next time you go shopping.
And remember, English is easy and practical.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
And see you in the next video.